وَرَضُوا عَنْهُ. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is pleased with them, and they are pleased with Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. That we stopped on the greatest contribution of Abu Bakr as-Siddiq radiAllahu anhu, fi jam'il Qur'an, in the compilation or the collection of the Qur'an, and the companion who instigated this collection, كما ذكر Imam al-Bukhari, who instigated the collection of the Qur'an, is none other than Umar ibn al-Khattab. He is the one who stated to Abu Bakr as-Siddiq that the Qurra, the Huffaz, the reciters, and those who are memorizing the Qur'an are being made shuhada, or being killed in the way of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And if you do not put the Qur'an together in a suhuf, in a book form, then we will lose this Qur'an. And Abu Bakr as-Siddiq hesitated, but Umar kept on persuading him until eventually he took the opinion of Umar ibn al-Khattab. And we find that Umar was the one who had a great insight to the understanding of the Qur'an. As we find narrated by Imam Muslim, that he states that the Qur'an coincided with my judgment on 3 occasions. I had 3 thoughts in my mind, 3 opinions in my mind, and the Qur'an came down upon the opinions that I had in my mind. The first opinion that he had on his mind was dhikrul asra, the mentioning of the capturing of the prisoners. Abu Bakr as-Siddiq said, let them go free. Umar held the opinion, biqatlihim, that they should be killed. The Qur'an comes down giving ta'yeed, coming in correspondence with the opinion of Umar ibn Khattab. The second occasion that the Qur'an comes down upon the opinion of Umar ibn Khattab is dhikr al-hijab, is the remembrance or the reminder of the women to wear the veil. He could not find it befitting that ummahatul mu'mineen, the mothers of the believers, the wives of the Prophet Muhammad salallahu alayhi wa sallam, should be exposed to the rest of humanity, that people should be able to visualize them and see them. He held this opinion. And then the ayat came down from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala that the women should cover themselves, the wives of the Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam, and then this applies to the rest of the women in society. As for the third revelation, وَاتَّخِذُوا مِن مَقَامِ إِبْرَاهِيمَ مُصَلَّى, take the place of Maqam Ibrahim, the station of Ibrahim, take it as a place of prayer. And those who perform Umrah or Hajj, that it is part and parcel of the action to go after Tawaf to read 2 rak'ah of prayer. This was the instigation of Umar, that he felt this would have been something good, that after performing Tawaf, to take this place, Maqam Ibrahim Musalla. And Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala revealed, وَاتَّخِذُوا مِن مَقَامِ إِبْرَاهِيمَ مُصَلَّى, take the place of Ibrahim alayhi salam, the Maqam of Ibrahim as a musalla, as a place of prayer. Imam Suyuti mentions some 50 cases of ayat of the Qur'an coming down upon the opinion of Umar ibn Khattab. Shurbul Khamar, the drinking of alcohol, the abstinence of it, the tahrim of it, is all the thoughts of Umar ibn Khattab. And an ayat come down from the heavens. Abdullah ibn Ubay ibn Salul, the Ra'isul Munafiqeen, the leader of the hypocrites, ayat come down talking about him. And once again, Umar is hoping that ayat will come and expose this hypocrite. And likewise, his own son Ibn Umar states, وَمَا نَزَلَ مِنَ النَّاسِ أَمْرٌ قَطْ, no opinion came down to people, no revelation came down to the companions. وَقَالْ فَقَالُوا وَقَالَ, they said something and he said something. إِلَّا نَزَلَ الْقُرْآنَ عَلَى نَحْوِ مَا قَالَ عُمَرْ, except for the Qur'an came down upon the thought of Umar ibn Khattab radiAllahu anhu. People would say one thing, he would say something else. And the Qur'an would come in the statement or an opinion of Umar ibn Khattab. And likewise find a hadith ma rawahu Imam Bukhari, that there will be amongst my people nasun muhaddathun, people are mulhimun, people have inspiration, people who say some words of revelation, some correctness in their speech. فَإِنْ يَكُنْ فِي أُمَّتِي أَحَدٍ, if there is anybody amongst my ummah who is muhaddathun, mulhimun, then it is Umar ibn Khattab. A blessing from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, that the words that he utters are a form of inspiration and some part of nubuwah, some part of prophethood. Likewise we find, لو كان بعدي نبي لكان عمر ibn al-Khattab كما ذكره Imam al-Tirmidhi. If there was going to be a prophet after me, it would have been Umar ibn al-Khattab, are the words of the Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alayhi wasallam. That he even corrected the Prophet Muhammad on many occasions. The famous hadith, كما ذكره Imam Muslim, ورواه Abu Huraira, that one day he entered, followed the Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alayhi wasallam, and he entered into this garden, and he crouched down like a fox, and went through that gap to meet the Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alayhi wasallam. And the Prophet Muhammad gave him his shoe, gave him his sandal, to show us the testification, the witness, that you are my messenger. And whoever you meet outside of this gate, whoever says La ilaha illallah, give them the glad tidings of paradise. So when Abu Huraira stands outside, Umar ibn Khattab, he approaches him, and he says to him, whoever says La ilaha illallah, dakhal al-jannah, will enter into paradise. Umar ibn Khattab pushed him, فَسَقَطَ عَلَى إِسْتِي, and he fell down and he dropped towards his back, or on his back. And he began to weep and cry, because of the force of Umar ibn Khattab. And Abu Huraira went back to the Prophet Muhammad and said, look what Umar done to me. And he said, did you do this? He said, yes, I did. Why did you do it? He said, because if you leave people, just say, give them the glad tidings, La ilaha illallah, they may become relaxed upon that, and become lazy upon that. So I don't want you to give this bashara to mankind. Don't give him this bashara. And then the Prophet Muhammad retracted this statement, meaning that you have to strive and work for the shahada, work for the kalima. It's not sufficient just to utter these words and think you will enter into paradise. And Umar ibn Khattab, he understood this, that if you go around giving people the glad tidings, just say La ilaha illallah, and you will enter into paradise. Many people will rely just upon this statement and leave the action which is indulged with this statement. Inna Allah ja'ala al-haq ala lisani Umar wa qalbihi. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has placed the truth on the heart and on the tongue and the speech of Umar ibn al-Khattab. And that's why we find, كَانَ لَقَبُهُ al-Faruq. The title that was given to him was the distinguisher between al-haq wal-batil. The criterion between that which is the truth and that which is falsehood. لِأَنَّهُ أَظْهَرَ الْإِسْلَامِ وَفَرَّقَ بَيْنَ الْحَقِّ وَالْبَاطِلِ. Because he made Islam apparent. He exposed Islam. وَفَرَّقَ بَيْنَ الْحَقِّ وَالْبَاطِلِ. And he exposed and made a distinction between the truth and falsehood. Likewise, you find a statement, أَلَسْنَا عَلَى الْحَقِّ. Are we not upon the truth? As he mentioned in Sulh al-Hudaybiyah, in the pact or the treaty of Hudaybiyah, when the Muslims had to come down a stage, and he said these words to the Prophet Muhammad, Alasna ala al-haq. Are we not upon the truth? That why should we come down upon our religion? And even though the stance of the Prophet Muhammad was the truth, but his strong eager and desire that if you are upon the truth, then you should not step down from the truth. And that was not the first occasion that he made this statement of Alasna ala al-haq. That you read his seerah, Shadidul Kufr, immense devotion inside, or dedication to kufr, ثم شديد الإيمان, and then a stern burning passion towards al-iman. He was amongst Ashrafu Quraysh, the most noble people of the Quraysh, a notorious drinker, a notorious warrior, known for his stance and his anger and his temperament amongst all of the Arabs at that stage. And that's why many of them, or he stated himself, whoever has not indulged in extreme jahiliyyah will not really appreciate al-Islam. That if Islam is given to you, you take it for granted. But if you have to strive and search for Islam, there's a much more deeper conviction and a dedication towards the teaching of Islam. As for Islamuhu, كما ذكر إمام البيهقي في دلائل النبوة, as Imam Bayhaqi mentions, that the conversion of Umar ibn Khattab to al-Islam, the famous story of when he went to kill the Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam, shadid al-kufr, extreme desire of disbelief and to hurt the Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam, that on his journey there, he meets one of his friends who has concealed his iman, and he sees the facial expression in his face, and he knows he's going to cause some harm. And he asks him, where are you going? He said, I've had enough of this Prophet, of this Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam. And he says to him, go and rectify your own home before you go and attack the Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam. So he turns to his own home, and he finds his sister